chest today? Nothing special? All right, let's start on our backs to begin. Just let your feet come nice and wide as your hips kind of feel like today. And just let your toes sort of relax and fall out to the sides. And as you take the arms out and turn the palms up, just gently tuck those shoulder blades underneath you, settling in, relaxing. And starting to breathe in and out through the nose, with lips that are closed and a jaw that stays relaxed. Starting to notice the rise and fall of the belly. Start to notice the movement through the rib cage. And try to be aware of that breath as it moves right up into the upper chest and the collarbones lift slightly. Try to control and be aware of every breath that you take from this point on. And every time you exhale, the body gets a little heavier, sinks a little closer to the ground. Let go of the morning. Let go of whatever thoughts linger in your mind as you come to this place of stillness. Let go of everything but this moment in time, this breath. And if the Ujjayi breath is a part of your regular yoga practice and you'd like to bring that in now, you can, constricting the glottis, narrowing the airway, just enough to create that ocean wave-like sound as you breathe in and breathe out, helping to keep you aware of the breath, helping to distract the mind from any other thoughts, any other sounds. And as you start to wiggle the fingers and the toes, begin to move the hands and the feet, the wrists and the ankles, and let your head just start to turn very slowly from side to side. Wake up that neck, spine. Rolling the head back through center, sliding your legs together now. Reach the arms back over your head and stretch your toes out in front of you. And take another deep breath in. Make the body even longer. As you exhale, release the arms down to your sides. Draw your knees into your chest, hug them in with your hands, and just do a little rocking from side to side, massaging your back. Playing around with where you take the massage, depending on how tight or how loose those knees are pulled in, how close together they are, how far apart. And just roll back to that center position and go ahead and extend all four of your limbs up towards the ceiling. Try to keep your low back down on the ground, keep your shoulders down on the ground, spread your fingers and your toes. Gently press the backs and the knees open. Keeping the neck long so the chin is just slightly touched. Feel a bit of abdominal work happening here to get the legs up in the air. Can you still breathe deeply? Begin to take your legs now really wide apart. Bring your hands to your inner thighs And use the arms to open the legs even wider if you can. Keep pressing out through the heels. Keep spreading your toes. Taking your hands now to the outsides of the legs, and on an inhale, bring the legs back together, bend your knees, and plant your feet flat on the floor, walking your heels as close to the buttocks as you can. And then reaching down with the arms, hugging them into the sides of the body, spread your fingers really wide, and adjust your feet to a hip distance stance. And as you tuck the tailbone, inhale, lift the hips up into bridge pose. Keep them high, but don't strain, don't force. Make sure you can still breathe. The knees are still over the ankles. Pressing into the big toe and the inner heel. Take a deep breath in, rise onto the toes. Take your arms out slowly as you lower upper back, mid back, low back, all the way down. Let your heels touch down. And then draw your knees into your chest, reach for the knees, and once again rock from side to side, maybe massaging the back a little differently this time. Good, roll back to center, take a grip on the back of your thighs, pop the hips up a little bit and roll all the way up to a seated position. So when you swing both feet around to one side to come into your table, what way do you swing the legs? Are you always swinging them right or left? Do it the opposite to what you're drawn to do and make your way into a table position. So try to let all four limbs start to equally support the weight. Lift the low belly up towards the spine and bring your shoulders forward, maybe over your first set of knuckles even. Lots of space between your thumbs that both your feet could fit there. And as you inhale, lift the chin and the tailbone up as you open the throat. As you exhale, draw the tailbone down as you tuck the chin and round the back. Inhaling to come back into cow, make that U shape with your spine. Exhale to round out into your cat. And continue. Waking up the spine, moving the body at the measure of your breath to the best of your ability. Maybe you can even close the eyes and start to focus more inwards than outwards. One more inhale into cow. And one more exhale up into your cat before returning back to table, sliding your big toes together, taking your hips towards your heels, taking your knees maybe to the edges of your mat, maybe not quite that wide if that's not available. So before you lower your chest, think about how much those hips can come down. So we're still kind of sitting upright. What can our knees allow? How deep of a bend can you get into the knees? Then start to lower the chest and the elbows. Maybe the forehead comes down to the ground. Maybe your hands need to support the forehead. But letting gravity pull your hips towards your heels here. Let your eyes just be soft and closed. Continue to breathe through your nose. Good, let your hands stretch out in front of you. Pulling yourself up to your hands and your knees. Readjust the knees to hip distance. Press heavily into the tops of the feet. And now inhale, right leg back, left arm forward, spinal balance. Try not to change the position of your shoulders and hips here. So you're still looking straight down to the floor. John, widen your hands for me first. Good. Flex that right foot. Spread those toes. Push your heel towards that wall behind you and lift the shoulder up and away from the wrist. Take another inhale, stretch the arm and leg even longer. As you exhale, lower your hand and lower your knee, and then inhale, left leg and right arm extend. Trying to bring that arm right up alongside the ear, palm is turning in, shoulder pulling back and down, so don't let your right shoulder move further ahead than the left one. And then we continue to lift the left shoulder up and away from the left wrist. The breath is still very fluid, very smooth, calm. Facial muscles relaxed. Take another inhale, stretch it out even longer, and as you exhale, lower your hand, Lower your knee. Let's inhale into cow. Make that U shape with the spine. Exhale, take it up into your cat. 2 more. Inhaling into cow. And exhaling into cat. Last time. Coming back to a neutral table. Once you're done, slide the knees back a couple inches. Go ahead and curl your toes under and take it up into your first downward facing dog here. So hips towards the ceiling, heels gently pressing down, maybe one at a time, walking those feet. Heels up and down, stretching out the hamstrings. Keeping your hands really wide apart. Good. Pull the shoulders back away from the ears, and now press both your heels down at the same time, as best you can. And if your hamstrings are feeling really tight today, a little bend in the knees might be helpful so that your shoulders aren't coming forward over the wrists, but you're able to push your shoulders, your armpits back towards your ankle area. Now inhale, rise high on the toes, soft knees as you look at your hands, and begin to walk your feet to your hands. Keep walking them up, and then inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold over those legs. Inhale again to that flat back. Exhale, fold, hinge from your hips. Last time, inhale, gaze forward. Now, put a little bend in the knees and let your hands come to your hips. Push through the feet, squeeze the shoulder blades together. You're looking forward. Inhale, come to standing, straighten the legs. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Inhale, circle the arms up, look up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, soft knees, fold all the way down. Inhale, gaze forward, long spine. As we exhale, we plant the palms, step back to the top of a push-up. Remembering your push-up can be from the toes or from the knees. And a good indication is pain, if you experience it, to modify. Another good indication that you need a modification is by really listening to the sound of the breath. If it's strained at all, back off the posture slightly. Puff up your upper back. Pull that low belly up towards the spine. And as you inhale, just looking slightly forward. Keep looking forward as you start to lower, elbows skimming the sides, and then untuck the toes. Send the chin forward and lift through the back of the head. So your hands are alongside the chest, but you're using your back muscles to lift yourself up rather than the strength of your arms. Put a little bit of pressure into the tops of the feet as well. Inhale, just a little higher. Tuck your toes, press up and back to downward dog, hips high, chest back. Relax the head. And just breathe here. Slow and steady. In through the nose and out through the nose. Good. On your inhale, allow your right leg to lift up behind you, keeping your foot flexed. Try to keep that leg as straight as possible and don't lift the chin. Try to keep your head relaxed. Just let it hang. Can that right leg come up a little bit higher with your next inhale? Set it back down beside the left as you exhale, and inhale, lift your left leg up now. Try to straighten that left leg as much as you can. Push your heel to that wall behind you. Keep pressing that right heel gently down at the same time. Good. Another inhale, we bring the left leg even higher, and then we set the left foot down next to the right and inhale onto the toes. Soft knees, look at your hands, and step, walk, or hop the feet to that space. Inhale to the flat back. As you exhale, fold over those legs. Let's inhale, reach up, circle the arms up, and look up. Palms come together as you exhale, hands to the heart. We inhale, arms up, look up. Hinge from the hips, swan dive forward, lead with the chest. Look forward as you inhale. Plant your hands, this time step back with the opposite foot first to the top of a push-up. So we always try to do things opposite each and every time. Shoulders over wrists, low belly drawn in. If you're on your knees, keep the toes curled under. Keep the belly lifted. Pressing the earth away. Inhale, look a couple feet in front of you. Exhale, lower down. Curl into your cobra. Bhujangasana once again. So the kneecaps lift, the elbows point straight back, shoulders relaxed away from ears. Heavy in the tops of the feet, inhale a little higher. Tuck your toes, press up and back to downward dog and hold. Your feet should be parallel to one another. Push the chest gently back. Press those heels down. Breathe in and breathe out. Slow and steady. Good, inhale, rise high on the toes, soften the knees as you look forward. And as you exhale, let your feet come forward. Inhale, halfway up, long spine. And exhale, fold in over the legs. Inhale, arms reach up as you look up, palms touch, hands to the heart. Take an inhale. Exhale completely. Now look forward. Inhale, reach the arms up and take a side bend to your right as you exhale. Inhale to center. And then lean to your left. Arms are straight, so separate the hands if needed and continue now, moving with your breath. Try not to have a big pause at that low part or even at the top, so slow the movement down if needed. Shoulders are relaxed. Arms are straight. Wake up the side bodies. Try not to let your shoulder fall back behind you as you lean to that side. Take it over to the right your next time and hold the posture. We start with the hips centered, and then we just start to push that left hip just a little bit out to the side. Stretch out your arms as much as you can. Inhale to center. Exhale, a little lean to your left. Hips start centered, roll that left side of the chest forward, and now push your right hip ever so slightly out to the right. Compress the left side of the body. Focus the eyes. Inhale, come up. Separate your hands shoulder distance width apart, lifting the chin, looking up. Take a deep breath in. Push your hips forward and lean the torso back, but keep your heart lifted up towards the ceiling above you and the shoulders relaxed and down away from the ears in this back bend. So your buttocks should activate in this pose. This helps to protect the low back. Maintain the breath. On the inhale, come all the way up. As you exhale, reach forward, fold all the way down. Now look forward and lengthen. With the feet at a hip distance stance, take a grip on your big toes or your ankles, and then inhale, look out in front of you. Keeping the legs as straight as possible, start to pull yourself down using the strength of the arms. Head hangs and is heavy. Bend your elbows. Activate your biceps, straighten your legs as much as possible. Chin is pulling in towards the chest. Neck is long. The breath is steady. Lengthening with your inhales, pulling yourself down deeper and deeper with your exhales. Fingers are pulling up on the toes, and the big toes push into those first two fingers. Now inhale, look forward. Release the bind. Heel toe your feet together. Planting your hands at a shoulder distance width. So get both your hands flat on the ground. Step back, opposite foot again, first to the top of a push-up. Try to keep both palms flat, shoulders over wrists. The space between your thumbs is big enough for both your feet to fit. Are you breathing? Look forward as you inhale. Lower slow as you exhale. Send the chin forward as you lift through the back of the head. Squeeze those legs together. Now, slowly extend your arms straight out to the sides. Come up onto your fingerprints. So straight out. See if you can lift both legs off the ground. Continue to squeeze between the blades. Continue to squeeze your legs together, toes stretching back, heart lifting up. Take another inhale, lift those legs up, chest up, lowering the forehead, hands beside your chest. Press slowly up to the knees and sink all the way back into child's pose. And relax for a moment here, arms either in front, alongside, or supporting the head. Just letting that back round out after the back bend, moving from extension into flexion. Good, bring your hands to either side of your head, press into the palms, slowly come up, and just bring your thighs together here. So with your thighs together, we're gonna lift off the heels, curl the toes under, and try to keep your toes pointing straight down to the ground. Walking your hands back, take a little peek at your pinky toes and make sure those are tucked under as well. So as your hands come back, maybe they're in front of the knees. What you're trying to do is make the space between your buttocks and your heels as small as possible. So how much can you push the hips down? If you're already sitting on the heels and it's really easy, then the hands come to the thighs. But if you're not sitting on the heels, don't lift your hands. Try to push the hips down first. If you're sitting on the heels and it's like easy peasy, I don't feel anything, lean back into your hands behind you, taking more weight back into the feet. This is going to give the feet more of a stretch. So what are your toes asking for? Thighs are going to stay together. Toes stay pointing straight down but tucked under. And we're breathing now into the feet, the toes, the arches. Every time you exhale, try to relax, try to soften, let go of the reactive nature of the mind and even the body when you take it to an uncomfortable place. Can you just breathe deeper? Put a little smile on your face. This is awesome. It feels amazing, even if you're struggling. Fake it till you make it. If you've leaned back into your hands, we're going to inhale, slowly bring the shoulders up. Hands come to the floor, walk them forward, lift your toes, and point your toes straight back behind you. So the feet are off the ground. Flex your feet now and try to spread those toes as wide as you can. Now, relax the tops of your feet onto the ground. See if you can sit back towards the heels. If your knees won't allow you to come all the way down, try to work those hips down as much as possible. That might be enough of a stretch for you. You're feeling it in the tops of the feet. Some of you are sitting back quite easily. Maybe you're going to lean back into the hands and lift those knees right off the ground. But if your hips aren't coming all the way down, you're kind of supporting yourself, trying to encourage them down. If the knees are lifted, do you need the hands? Maybe they can come to the heart. Keep lifting those knees up. Stretch out the front of those ankles as much as you can. Take another deep breath in, and as you exhale, if you've lifted the knees, set them down. Let's plant the hands at the top of the mat and step back into a downward facing dog for a few moments and just stretch everything out. See if you can lift the toes, not the balls, or pardon me, not the heels, but lift your toes themselves and fan them out a little bit. Nice. And then relax those toes back down. Good, John, take your hands a little wider for me again, just a bit. Good. Roll the weight to the thumb and pointer finger. Pull those shoulders up and back, away from those ears. Inhale, lift your right leg up, and as you exhale, step your right foot all the way up to the top of your mat. Walk your hands now around to the left and turn your right toes in as you go, facing the outside wall of the space. Pigeon toe your feet. So bring your big toes in and your heels out. Keep your hands on the ground, shoulder distance apart. If you can't touch the ground, widen the feet a little bit or bend the knees a little bit. So keeping those feet in that pigeon-toed position, start to press through all four corners of the feet, rising to the fingerprints. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant your hands and walk your hands back. How far back can you walk them? So Maureen, widen your hands back to shoulder distance for me. Good. Keep your elbows hugging in. Aaron, go a little wider with your hands too. Keep your elbows hugging into that shoulder distance. Keep both your palms flat on the ground. Now, how much can you straighten the legs without locking your knees? Can you bring some weight into your toes? Using the strength of your arms, like you could pull yourself right through your legs. Imagine you had the flexibility that you could curl yourself right up and look straight up towards the ceiling above you. Keep bringing weight in the toes, maintaining that breath in and out through the nose. Good. As you inhale, walk the hands forward, come up to your fingerprints and look forward, and then just walk around towards your right foot. And as you do, turn your right toes out. So we're going to line up our right heel with the arch of the left foot and start to walk that left foot back even further, bending right knee over right ankle. So try to point your left toes towards the wall to the left and take your right forearm onto your right thigh and your left hand onto your left hip. And as you turn your right palm up to the sky, so turn the right palm up, spread the fingers, look down at that right knee and see if you can get the knee right over the ankle. So Marianne, let your right foot walk over to the left just a little bit so your heel and your left arch kind of line up a bit, keeping the hips in the same plane. Now let that left arm float up to the ceiling. Can you look up towards that left hand? Start to draw both shoulders down and away from your ears. Pull the low belly in as you tuck the tailbone just slightly. And then turn your left palm forward and start to reach forward over the ear. Good. Keep spiraling your chest open to the left. Try to keep that left arm as straight as possible. Encourage your right knee to bend over that right ankle, moving towards the baby toe edge of your foot. Take one more inhale in this extended side angle. As you exhale, sit just a little deeper. And now inhale, left arm to the ceiling. Look down. Let's release the left fingerprints down and bring the right hand to the inside edge of the foot as well. Walk around to the left and pause in between those 2 feet again. Pigeon toeing the feet, leaning a bit of weight into the toes as you look out in front of you. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, start to fold down. And now take a grip on your big toes with those first 2 fingers. Thumbs into the center of each palm, and the ring and pinky wrap around the thumbs, so you're not using your thumbs like kickstands. Now, shift some weight into the toes, gaze out in front of you, lengthening. Start to pull yourself down as you exhale. Relax your head, bend your elbows, and just flare them out to the sides. So John, can you widen your feet more? Even a little bit more. And then pigeon toe them. So slide just the heels out this time. Good. Pulling up on the toes, palms facing one another, pushing those toes into those fingers. Imagining that you could pull yourself right down and the top of your head would touch the floor right in between your 2 feet. Take one last inhale. Exhale, draw yourself down to your furthest place, and then inhale. Lift up to a flat back. Release a hold of your big toes, hands on the ground. Walk your hands now around to the left and turn your left toes to the back of the room. Keeping your right foot planted on a 90-degree angle, line up your left heel with the arch of your right foot. So John, try to keep your hands down on the ground if you can, and walk your right foot even further back. So hands down on the ground if you can. Good. So trying to bend deeply into that left knee, getting the knee over the ankle, point your right toes straight out to the right, line up your left heel and your right arch. Bring your left forearm onto your left thigh and your right hand to your right hip. So Maureen, less of a turn in with that right big toe, just a little bit. Point your toes a little bit more out to the right. That's going to allow that right hip to come back more. Good. Now let that right arm float straight up to the ceiling. Good. So John, you're going to walk your left foot over to the right a little bit. Your left foot, your front foot. Line up your left heel and your right arch. No, you're not moving the right foot, just the left foot. You want your left heel to line up with your right arch, the middle of your right foot. So as you reach up with those right fingers, maybe you can look up, pull both shoulders down away from the ears, and then turn your right palm forward this time and take the arm over the ear, reaching for the back of the room, but keep spiraling your chest open to the right. So a little tuck to the tailbone, a little draw in through that low belly. Letting those hips melt down, keep that left knee right over top of that left ankle, moving the knee to the baby toe edge of the foot just a little bit. Good work. Inhale, right arm to the ceiling. As you exhale, look down, release your right hand down to the ground and your left hand, and then walk your hands around to the right. All the way around to the top of your mat. Turn your right toes out. Come onto the ball of your left foot. Now with both palms flat on your yoga mat, we're going to use the strength of our core muscles, pulling the right foot in and towards the chest as we step the foot back, and then just press back to downward dog. Hips to the sky, heels pressing down, armpits pressing back. Notice the state of your breath. Notice the state of your mind. Notice the need to judge, to compare. Let it go. Do you want the heater, Maureen? Do you want the heater? Good. As you inhale, rise to the toes, soften the knees, look forward, and come through to a seated position. And extending your legs out. Pulling the flesh out from underneath those sitting bones. All 10 toes pull towards you, shoulders come back, ears come back, hands come to the heart. So for some of us, a little lift underneath the edge of the seat is helpful. I oftentimes use a blanket. If you feel as though your tailbone wants to tuck, bringing those hips up or even bending the knees a little bit can be helpful. So interlace your fingers. Take the palms, press them forward, but give a little squeeze between those shoulder blades. And as you inhale, lift the arms up, but stop before the shoulders lift. Pressing out through the heels, spread your toes, take a deep breath in. Take a tiny little lean to your right, keep both buttocks on the ground. Inhale to center, and then the lean is to the left. Try not to let that left shoulder fall back behind you. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, lean your heart forward, reaching forward, pressing out through the palms. So if you can get your hands around the feet, you can keep them as they are. If that doesn't work, you can grab the feet, you can grab the ankles, you can grab your calves. Now you're going to pull your low belly back towards your spine. Drag your chest through the upper arms. Keep the legs just as they were. Don't bend them more to get your chest closer to your thighs. When you can't go any further, relax your head. Let it hang. Let your eyes just soften and close. Trying to shorten the distance between the heart and the toes. Hinging right at those hip creases, folding the body in half. Feel the intensity of that stretch up the back of your legs. Good. As you inhale, lift the chin, and as you exhale, extend the arms back alongside the ears, looking between the palms. We inhale, reach for the ceiling, stretching as we come up, palms out, let the arms circle down. Now just draw your right knee into your chest. Take a hold of your right foot with your left hand, holding onto the knee with the right hand. Flex the right foot here, and just move the leg side to side. How much movement can you get right at that hip? Good. Let's cross that right ankle over just above the left knee. Make sure your ankle bone is over to the side. Flex both the feet. So how does that feel in that right hip? Maybe this knee is way up in the air. That's okay eventually. Maybe that hip will open. It might take 30 years, so be patient. If you want to add a little bit of weight, the right hand can be that weight. So keep flexing your right foot. You don't need to hold the foot anymore, just flex it. Let's inhale, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, start to move the heart forward. So what does your hip tell you when you do this? Can you go a little further? Maybe your hands can walk down the left leg. Maybe you can grab the left foot. Maybe your hands are just going to stay as they were. Maybe left hand's on the floor, right hand is still on the right knee. Imagine that you could get your chest to come past that right shin. Keep that flex in the right foot to stabilize that ankle joint. Good. And breathe. And if you're feeling the stretch too intensely in the left leg, put a little bend in the knee if it's necessary. Good. As you inhale, lift the chin. Exhale slowly. Come all the way up. Let's take that right leg out and give the legs a little shake. And then bring your left knee into your chest. Reaching for the left foot with the right hand, holding the knee with the left hand, flex your left foot. So don't pull on the ankle and pull. Try to keep that foot stabilized. So you're holding the foot with the right hand and the knee with the left, and we just start to rock that leg. So is there a big difference for you between sides? Are you aware of what your tight side is? Most of us are. As you come back to center, place that left leg over top of the right leg, ankle bone to the outside. You shouldn't have to hold the foot anymore. Flex it. If you want the weight, the left hand can be that weight on the knee. So keep flexing the right foot as well, pulling it back towards you, lengthen through the top of the head, and start to move the chest forward. Maybe your hands stay right where they were. Maybe your right hand's on the ground, your left hand is on your knee. Maybe you're walking your hands down the right leg. Maybe you're grabbing the foot or the ankle. Take yourself to that furthest place and then relax your head and just let it go. Keep flexing both of your feet, spreading your toes. Breathing into those areas that are tense and tight and uncomfortable, and try to soften them every time you exhale. Try to relax your body, relax your mind, relax your expectations. Good. As you inhale, lift the chin, and as you exhale, nice and slow, come all the way up. Let's take that left leg out and give the legs a little shake. Good. Lie down onto your back with your feet up at the top of your mat. Draw the knees loosely into the chest and just do a little rocking from side to side for a moment. Massage that low back. And then come back to center. Widen your knees as wide as they'll go. So holding onto your knees with your hands, take your knees really wide. So you're holding your knees with your hands. Your knees are still into your chest, but they're wide, wider than your rib cage is wide. Now point the soles of your feet straight up to the ceiling above you, but don't let your ankles go wider than your knees. So Maureen, bring your ankles back in a little bit, but not the knees. Keep the knees wide, yeah. Now, can you reach your arms up through the inside edges of your legs to grab maybe the front of your shins or ankles, inner arches, big toes? Don't lift your tailbone though, so bring that tailbone back down, good adjustment. So John, can you get your ankles right on top of your knees so your shins are perpendicular? Beautiful. Now use the strength of the arms and try to draw your knees down. Imagine you could pull them into your armpits or to the sides of your rib cage. Keep flexing your feet, keep the shoulders relaxed. Keep that low back down on the ground here in our happy baby pose. Now, can you start to straighten your legs and widen them? So don't grab your feet if it's causing you to lift the shoulders off the ground. Better to hold higher up the legs. If straightening your legs, so Marianne, start to straighten the legs if you can. Good. Even if you have to slide your hands up the legs. So John, straighten your legs now. And take them as wide as they'll go now. Keep your hands on the insides of those thighs and use your arms to press your legs open as much as possible. Keep the shoulders relaxed and down away from the ears. Keep that tailbone down on the ground. Now bringing Your legs back together. Take your arms straight up to the ceiling, just like we did at the beginning of our practice. This is your first option. If you'd like to come into a shoulder stand, you can bring the arms down at your sides, pop your hips up off the mat, and drop the legs right over your face. Starting in plow to bring the hands as close to one another as possible. And then eventually the hands are on the back as the legs come up in the air. Or you can just do legs and arms up. Listen to your body. Bring your legs up in the air. Reverse the effects of gravity now. Remember, a shoulder stand doesn't always have to be it for you. Be aware of what your body is needing in every class, in every moment. If you are in shoulder stand, can you bring your pinky fingers to either side of your spine, bringing the elbows in a little bit? Try to relax the legs as much as possible. Good. Breathe as slowly as you can. Take another deep breath in. If your legs are up in shoulder stand, let your legs come over your face and let your palms touch down to the ground. Slowly lower your upper back without lifting your head. And then the mid-back starts to come down. Don't lift the head. Let the low back come down. And we're all going to be here. Legs up in the air, arms down at the sides of the body. So if you've got arms up, you're going to bring the arms down to your sides. Palms pressing down. Bring your arms as close to the sides of the body as you can get them. Pushing your heels up towards the ceiling, take another deep breath in, and on your exhale, lower your legs halfway down and pause. Try to push your heels forward as you inhale, and lower halfway down again as you exhale. Pausing to push out through the heels, and then lower your heels 1 inch off the ground. Take one last deep breath in, push the heels away, and then let those heels gently touch. Walk your feet towards your fingers. Plant your heels directly in front of the buttocks, hip distance width apart. And as you tuck the tailbone, inhale, take it up into Setu Bandhasana, our bridge pose. Try not to widen the knees. Imagine your yoga block was there in between the knees, and you want to hold that block in place. Keep your big toes just a little closer together than your inner heels are. Can you walk your hands a little bit closer together? Keep pressing the palms down. If your thumbs touched, you might choose to clasp the hands. It's not a necessity, it's just a possibility. Keeping those arms as straight as possible, drive the length of both arms down into your mat so you can lift the hips and push your chest a bit closer to your chin. Good, let's inhale, rise high on the toes, send the arms to a T, and as you exhale, roll the back down slowly, one vertebra at a time. Once the low back touches, let the heels touch down. Draw your knees loosely into your chest, hug them in with your hands, and just rock from side to side. Good, as you roll back to center, set your feet down on the ground. Knees bent still. Cross your right knee over your left knee. So knee over knee this time. Rather than ankle over knee, it's knee over knee. So right over left rather than left over right. Now, once you've got those knees crossed as tightly as possible, can you draw your knees towards your chest a little bit? Now, allowing your heels to start to kind of lift up away from the floor slightly. Keep flexing your feet. Maybe you're reaching for your kind of shin area with your hands. Maybe you're reaching for your ankles. Maybe you're reaching for the outer edges of your feet. You're not reaching for the back of your thigh, though. You're trying to keep those feet slightly separated as you reach up with your hands, using the strength of your arms to pull your knees into your chest, but at the same time, pulling the heels up away from the floor, trying to draw those feet upwards as you work in this posture. So we're getting really deep into those hips, the buttock. Keep flexing both of the feet. Keep that low back down on the ground. Really try to feel this through that right buttock. Take another inhale, draw the feet up, squeeze the knees in, and now release your hands. Set your left foot down on the ground. Uncross your legs. Cross left knee over right knee. So tightly, knee over knee. So get those legs crossed as tightly as possible so the thighs are squeezing together, and start to draw your knees into your chest. Now, bring your heels up a little bit away from the floor and flex your feet. Can you reach your left hand for your right shin and your right hand for your left shin? Kind of the outer edges, maybe the outer ankles, maybe the edges of your feet. So you're pulling your heels up away from the ground, squeezing your knees into your chest. So remember, your left hand is holding your right leg and your right hand is holding your left leg somewhere along the way. Maybe it's just below the knees, and that's okay. Keep flexing both of your feet. Keep spreading your toes. Right hand holds the left leg, left hand holds the right leg. Breathe into that left hip and that left buttock. Take another inhale, bring the feet up, squeeze those legs in, and then release your hands and lower your right foot down to the ground. Uncross your legs. Bring your arms to a T, palms down. Draw your heels as close to your buttocks as you can, and then take your feet as wide as your mat is wide. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, melt your knees to the right as you turn your head to the left, and then inhale to center. Legs to the left, head to the right. Inhale, come up. Knees to the right, head left. Inhale, slowly lift. And change sides. Inhale, head and knees to center. This time, take your knees to the right, turn your head to the left, and turn your palms to face the ceiling. So your feet are still as wide as your mat is wide. Can you walk your left foot a little bit out to the left? Letting that left knee drop a little bit more, feeling that stretch through the front of that left hip and the side of that left leg. Really taking advantage of the fact right now that your left lung is so very open and exposed. Fill that left lung with as much oxygen as you possibly can. And then when you exhale, be sure to empty your lungs completely, pulling the belly back towards the spine, squeezing all of it out, and then relax, and the lungs flood again. And if you've walked that left foot out to the left and you kept it there, bring that left foot back to the edge of your mat. Let's inhale, head and knees back up to center. Change sides as you exhale, legs to the left, head to the right. Keeping that right shoulder down on the ground. See if you can walk your right foot a little bit further out to the right, relaxing that knee towards the earth. And now we're breathing into the right side of the chest. Letting gravity continually pull the knees down, pull the shoulders down, pull both arms down. Soften your face. Relax your jaw. Take another really long, slow, deep breath in. Fill, fill, fill. Exhale, let it all go. Walk your right foot back to the edge of your yoga mat. And inhale, head and knees come to center. Heel toe your feet together. Draw your knees into your chest. Reach for the knees with your hands and just do a little rocking from side to side. And let's roll the body back to center. Once again, extend the arms out to a T, palms down as you flex your feet and squeeze your knees and your ankles together. Bring your heels up so that your shins are parallel to the ground. And now flexing your feet, keeping both palms pressing, keeping both shoulders heavy, take a deep breath in and allow your legs to come over to the right, but don't lift your left shoulder as you look to the left. So keep squeezing your knees together. Don't drop your feet. Squeeze those knees. Don't let them separate. Doesn't matter how far over to the right your legs go. Are your shoulders both on the ground? Inhale, come to center, head and knees. Legs to the left, head to the right. Don't lift your right shoulder. So don't lift it. Maybe the legs only come over a few inches. You're still using your obliques. It's not a better twist. We're not looking at twisting. We're looking at strengthening right now. So squeeze those ankles and knees together. Push into your palms. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, legs to the right, head to the left. Hover. Inhale, come up. Exhale, legs left, head to the right, both shoulders down. Inhale, come up. Head and knees, let your legs go to the right, let your head turn to the left, and before your left shoulder lifts off the ground, set your feet gently down. Turn your palms up. If your left shoulder is really pulling away from the floor, shimmy your shoulders a little bit to the right and see if you can relax that left shoulder back down. Try to relax your left rib cage back down to the ground as well. Closing the eyes, breathing as deeply as you can, as slowly as you can, in and out through your nose. The lips are closed and the jaw is relaxed. Facial muscles are soft. Where are you holding tension in your body right now? Are you aware of it somewhere in particular? Can you direct the breath to that area of the body? The mind is powerful. Linking the body and the mind together through the breath is what makes the practice of yoga so, having a hard time with words lately, effective. So when we can link it together and we can move and we can cultivate awareness on our mat, we're always moving safely, we're working to our edge with diligence, with perseverance. Over time, our practice begins to evolve. But it's not always on an upward trajectory. Sometimes there's ups and downs. We have little moments where we're dealing with maybe a small injury, or we've gotten a little tight because we haven't been practicing as often. But you get out of this practice what you put into this practice. Take another really long, slow, deep breath in, filling up right to the top. As you exhale, make sure to squeeze it all out as you push into your palms. Let's flex the feet and let the head and the knees come through center. Feet are off the ground, using the core to bring the legs up. Take another deep breath in, and as you exhale, let your legs move left, head to the right. Before your right shoulder lifts, set the feet gently down, turn the palms up, and then relaxing your right shoulder. If it's pulling away from the floor, shimmy your upper body a little bit to the left so that that right shoulder comes back down. Try to get that right rib cage area to come back down as well. And then see if you can challenge yourself today to keep your eyes closed to the very end of your practice. Moving to that fifth limb of yoga as we leave the physical practice behind, we move into the more mental states of the practice. Pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses. So our senses are what connect us to the world around us. And if we can focus the senses inwards, we can start to really look inside. Inside the physical body, inside the mental body, inside the emotional body, inside the spiritual body. When you find yourself distracted by something outward, go a little deeper inward. Focus more intently on your breath, on quieting the mind, relaxing, softening, and just melting your whole body to the earth. The arms heavy, upper back heavy, legs heavy, muscles relaxed. Last opportunity to send the breath where it needs to go. Where are you holding tension? One last place. Maybe you can direct the last 1 or 2 breaths there. Try to let it go. Taking that last deep breath in, filling up right to the top, maybe even slightly more, and then let all of it go, squeezing the belly in. Press your palms down and inhale. Head and knees come through center. Reach out for the knees, squeeze them into the chest. And now start to draw your forehead up towards your forehead up towards your knees, and wrap your arms even more tightly around your legs. How tight of a ball can you compress yourself into? Take one last deep breath in, hold the breath, squeeze every muscle of the body from the tip of the nose to the tips of your toes. Squeeze, 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 and release that tension. Set your head down. If you need to reach for your socks, your long sleeve shirt, try not to look around, try not to compare what you're doing to anybody else. Try to, as quickly as you can, make what necessary things you need. Quick, quick, quick. Give your body as much time in Shavasana as you possibly can get. This is where the magic happens. It's the most important pose of our practice. But it's also the most difficult pose of our practice. It seems like it would be easy. Everybody asks when they come to a practice and they're a little bit fatigued, oh, I want to do Shavasana all class long. But if you actually had to do it, you would find it very challenging. Remaining still in your physical body, taking rest. Adjust the body as necessary so that it's comfortable, symmetrical. Start to relax the deep breathing. Relax your throat. Let your whole body be heavy. Let your whole body relax. Still focusing inwards now. The 6th limb of our practice, known as dharana, which means to focus or concentrate. This helps us move towards a state of meditation. So we choose one thing to focus on. Be it your breath, be it a mantra, be it an image, whatever works for you. You don't want to change your focal point. Once you've chosen one for this period, maintain it. And when you're distracted, come back to it. Let it be that resting point you come back to again and again. Training the mind. Relax completely. Follow that sound. And begin to breathe deeply. Begin to move the body slowly, mindfully, with awareness. Slide your legs together, point your toes, reach your arms all the way back and over your head, and take a long, deep breath in. Make the body as long as can be, and then relax the arms down, draw your knees to your chest, and just rock side to side a couple times. With the eyes still closed, roll over to your right side and just hang out here for a moment, scanning the body, checking in, notice how you feel. Thanking yourself and those around you for sharing this practice with you today. Thank yourself for showing up, for making the effort to be here. And I thank you for coming and allowing me to share these teachings of yoga with you to the best of my ability. Pushing into your left hand and your right arm, nice and slow, make your way up to a seated position. Palms together, hands at the heart, lifting through the crown of the head. Ending our practice with an Om. Take a deep breath in. The divine light within me graciously, humbly acknowledges that same divine light within you. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.